Hello, good morning, viewers across the globe. This is SRTV um, with today's newspaper analysis and, of course, analysis on contemporary issues involving our nation. Usually, this program is anchored very eminently from London by Daddy Chris. But this morning, we hope that he will join us. But as it stands now, I want to bring up the anchor person from Abuja. That's Mary. Mary, are you over there? Hello? Hello, Mary? Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Are you on with the, yes, are you on with the newspaper review? If we could just start off from there. What are the papers saying this morning?
Okay, shortly. My network is really bad here. Sorry. It's not really working. Okay, we have this thing, the Punch, which is the big story. It says fuel prices may fall as FEC renews Naira for crude deal. Fuel prices may fall as FEC renews Naira for crude deal. But I'm going to display it now.
Yeah, the issue of fuel prices in Nigeria remains very, very integral. You know, is the price of fuel affects actually everything, and there have been a whole lot of issues and a whole lot of concerns because even the local refinery here in Nigeria, the Dangote refinery, it's like that private initiative is being frustrated. The reason being that is meant to carry out its transactions in a dollarized transaction. The implication of that is that there is so much stress on forex, and that it's also affecting the prices of items. And of course, the premium motor spirit that is popularly called the fuel here in Nigeria is the price is going up, and up. You know, so now that the entire nation is reading under that pain of increased fuel pump price, now it's coming like a relief because the Federal Executive Council FEC has come up now to say, oh yes, we need to lay less emphasis on dollar now that it affects the issues of petroleum upstream and downstream, especially as it has to do with the prices of items and price of transportation, prices of goods. And so this is coming like some form of relief that Nigerians should count down to Easter celebration, begin to heave some level of relief. Why? Because there are strong indicators in the market that the prices of, the fuel pump price will come down. This is a positive indicator. Reason being that if we add a dollarized petroleum sector, including that of the private refinery, if we add that to the war that is going on across the nations now and the implication of on the economy, then chances are that there will be more challenging days ahead. And if there is anything that we need to guide against in this country now, is to ensure that the hardship that the ordinary Nigerian is going through is not worse than what it is now, so that the factories can come back, so that productivity, like Peter Obi once said, we can take the economy from sharing of revenue to a productive economy, so that we can grow jobs. And if all hands are in the factory, there will be less hands carrying guns all over the place, and the issue of history would have been taken care of. So I think in a very positive decision that FEC has taken which Nigerians believe that it has it's a good omen, because the is that the economy could come back to some level of equilibrium instead of the staccato in the rising of prices. So I think that is that from that lead story in Punch. Mary, I don't know if there are some other headlines we can take before we get into our major discussion for today. Hello? Hello, Mary? Okay, it appears that her network is challenging. Yes, that is the major headline from Punch, and we had expected that we'll get to see some other stories, because the stories in papers have their own way of reflecting the mood of the nation. Like Punch just made us understand the mood of the nation with respect to carrying out transactions in the petroleum industry now, and the landing cost and the implication it has on the fuel pump price, is that Nigerians should heave some level of a sigh of relief, knowing that the prices of the fuel pump price is likely to come lower than what it is now, because in the past couple of weeks, it's been going up, and trying to go beyond the ceiling, and that's not particularly a good development. It's challenging in a nation where, because of the poor infrastructure and the energy is not working, then you find a situation that Mary, you're back. Please, can we take some other headlines, please?
Okay, we're still on the Punch, sir. Okay, still on the Punch, we have the rider says Dangote NNPCL expected to review prices this week, and this is coming from their marketers. Still on the Punch, we have a story that says Labour Party.
Okay, that is still on the optimistic note. It's still on the optimistic note. Marketers are hoping that because of this development that has come from the Federal Economic Council, that Dangote and the rest major players in the oil industry will review prices downwards. And if that happens, it will also have its own way, a trickling down effect on the economy, on transportation, on the cost of living. Because most things in Nigeria, the cost of a number of items in Nigeria have their own way of revolving around the fuel pump.
But sorry to cut you. The big story is saying that fuel prices may fall, right? As PEC renews naira for crude oil. Do you believe for crude deal? Sorry, do you believe that this price will fall at any point in time? Because we know there's this saying in Nigeria that if something goes up, you understand, usually does not come down. No matter what happens, I don't know the possibility of this fuel price going low, below what we have now. You understand? I don't know how possible it is.
Yes.
I don't want to say I will not believe what Punch is saying.
Mary, your fears are understandable.
Over the time I've been talking about fuel price going down, but it has not. You understand? I know how many times we've read the daily saying that maybe next week the price of the fuel might fall. No, you see it's going higher. I don't know. I don't see the possibility of it going low at any point in time. I doubt. My take, though, I doubt that it's going low at any point in time.
You have your fears, and your fears can be substantiated, based on the experiences Nigerians have been going through. What are your fears? That there is this law that says everything that goes up will surely come down. But that in Nigeria, especially as it has to do with prices, once it goes up, it will hardly ever come down. So, but from the source, as it has to do with the Federal Economic Council and the this policy of that transaction can now be done in naira, then there is a strong indication that this will fortify the exchange rate between the naira and the dollar. So there will be less stress on forex. And what that also means is that the naira will be given more strength. What is happening all over the world is that there is a nationalistic approach to economy. Nations are trying to see how to edge up the value of their currency. But here we are coming up with policies that will make our naira to become more like a tissue paper. You understand? But your fear is that prices haven't gone up, like the cost of transportation haven't gone up, that no matter how the fuel pump price is adjusted, that is not likely to trickle down, that in Nigeria, prices, once they go up, may never come down. Well, we used to price control offices. You understand? But now, if they are no longer working, we have also seen situations where even the Ministry of Petroleum has a monitoring group that go from filling station to the other, ensuring that people adjust their fuel pump prices. I know your fears, and it is from the fact that once there is an upward review, upward adjustment, they adjust spontaneously, even sometimes ahead of the decision, in anticipation. Once there is a speculation that there is going to be adjustment, some of them stop selling because they want to adjust, and they sell at a level that is different from what they got, in spite of whatever the landing cost. But now we have a situation where we can also enforce that once this policy goes into action, and the likes of Dangote tell Nigerians, this is our landing cost, and this is your marginal profit for running your station, then we should be able to say that this is what a liter of fuel should go for. Anything outside that becomes extortion, and the people shouldn't allow themselves to be extorted. But that is also where the government has a role to play to regulate prices in order to ensure that we do not extort, we do not exploit the situation. Because if, for goodness sake, if the landing cost is anywhere around 680, 700, then of course that is a marginal drop, rather than a situation where you get into the filling station.
I think someone is agreeing with me right now. Okay, there's this comment here on the screen. Nigeria does not go with the law of gravity. Whatever goes up in Nigeria never comes down. Now you see what I'm saying? That's the truth. All these things you say, I really
no. That aligns with your thoughts, that aligns with your fears, and that also aligns with what has been happening. But we should put mechanism in place to ensure that the ordinary man in the street is positively affected by the policies, because a policy is as effective as its implementation. If you have a policy that says, for now, let us transact in naira, and so that it can be more affordable, and it is not implemented, and you still see people going about transacting in dollar, and you see a whole lot of fuel that is supposed to be sold here that is, in one way or the other, taken outside the border, because of course the transaction is denominated in dollar. Then of course you will find a situation where there has been a policy intervention to ensure that this cost of living is affordable in Nigeria, but it doesn't translate into what the government intended. Why? Because that policy has been implemented in a faulty trajectory. So I think beyond any policy, we should strive at implementation.
Okay. Okay, still on the punch. There's this story that says Rivers administrator under fire over local government electoral chiefs removal. And that story is on page 2. Moving forward, there's also this story that says I am saddened by happenings in America, coming from Shoyinka on page 32. No increase in my physical assets
Yeah,
after
before we look at before we go
for
America, you know,
okay.
before we go to America, yeah, before we go to America and look at Shoyinka, we can as well start from what is happening in Rivers State. Uh, we are conversant with the development that following a Supreme Court judgment, the president said because of how responsible the federal government is, they will not watch and see situations there degenerate to the level of lawlessness. Some of us are not aware if there were some symptoms of lawlessness. We just know that there were some scripts that had been that were politically orchestrated, and it was coming up to a point, and they of course predicted it will get to this level. Now, by the time the president came up and announced that the governor, the deputy that were elected by the people of Rivers State were going on suspension as a result of state of emergency for 6 months, subject to renewal, depending on how you review and evaluate the situation. And it didn't stop there. And you said the first arm of democracy, which is, of course, the legislative arm, that you were also putting them on suspension. And by the way, the papers this morning said the 27 of them who are pro-Wike were spotted in London with Wike and a former member of the PDP executive. That is also that they are meeting and they are plotting towards the next line of action. And why this is going on, democracy suffers. And in Rivers State is getting a lot more laughable. Now, a sole administrator has come and has decided to appoint his own local government administrators, handpicked. I think that is outrightly undemocratic. Outrightly undemocratic. And I do not, because he had been warned by the National Assembly, do not go ahead making any laws for yourself without revert to the National Assembly. Now we want to know, to what extent did he get the approval of the National Assembly before coming out with this list of the local government administrator? And by the way, we must not forget in a hurry that in one of the peace meetings between Fubara and Wike, Wike had asked him, you put it in writing that you will not be seeking a re-election in 2027. You also put it in writing that you will allow me control of the local government structure. All these are pointing towards 2027, you know, and to what extent they kept to that accord. Now, a sole administrator has come in at the state level, and he is handpicking local government administrators with whose authority. And little wonder that youths had to come out some 2 days ago, and some of them in some parts of the country yesterday, protesting that what is happening in Rivers State is a travesty of justice, it's against the rule of law, and it's outrightly, blatantly undemocratic. So I think those are the issues that we actually need to look at and find out, is this the kind of democracy that we need to follow, or is this something that we need to have a rethink? Don't forget that the PDP
But is there anything like democracy? Sorry, sir. Before you say is it the kind of democracy we need to follow, the question should be, are we practicing democracy in Nigeria? What is happening? Does it depict the practice of democracy in a country? Because if we can tell ourselves the truth, I don't think there's anything like democracy.
In principles, we are said to be practicing democracy. And we have had to say on this program a couple of times that democracy is a universal concept. It is believed to be the best form of government.
Oh, Asaba network is out. Is out. Okay, talking about what Mr. Obaka is trying to say. I know he wants to say, even though we are not practicing it, we can't really come out and say it is not happening. But personally, if you ask me, there's nothing like democracy in Nigeria. If there's democracy, we should see some level of transparency. We should see our leaders, right, having our interests at heart. There should be some level of accountability if there's anything like democracy, but it's not like that. You could see the protests here and there, and the other day in Abuja, the police had to even block the ways for the protesters not to pass. People are coming out to protest and are blocking the way for them, blocking everywhere. You understand? So how do you expect them to express themselves? So it means to some extent,
But there is no freedom of expression. Yeah.
Yeah, the demonstration is limited.
No, you see, if you say we are not practicing democracy, then you will also be prepared to tell me what we are practicing. In principle, we are said to be practicing democracy.
In a situation whereby the people protesting,
but the tenets, the ethos are not there. It's democracy that has removed the people who are the foundation of democracy. And when you remove the people, then you have what may come out to be a facile of democracy, but is on its own as it plays out outrightly dictatorial, authoritarian, and that I think is dangerous, quite dangerous, and it confirms your fear. And I do not differ with you, because youths came out to express themselves. In a democracy, you hear them out, and there must be a takeaway from your conversation with them. We have a democracy where people only return after every 4 years, election cycle democracy. They return after every 4 years to come and renew mandate. And what do they come? They have nothing with which to market. There are no manifestos. There are no ideologies. They come that I have pauperized these people for the past 3.5 years. I know they do not have salt. I know they do not have onions. I know they do not have bags of rice. So when I dangle these things before them, of course, they will queue behind me, and I will win. Yeah, they will come for it. Those are carrots, you just put the carrots, because you know that your policies in these past 4 years have not in any way impacted positively on their lives. If anything, they have been pauperized. So having been pauperized, and they are extremely hungry. Their children are not out of school. So whatever I dangled before them after within the period of the election cycle, they will be eager to take it and renew my mandate. That is a kind of system that is driven by not just interest, driven by impoverishment, pauperization of the people. But for how long will this continue? Do we have chances of the people coming together and saying enough is enough? Can the people take up their destiny in their hand? Can the people try to be a lot more strategic? Can there be visionaries and people of principle, and not unprincipled kind of demagogues that we are having now, who are parading themselves as Democrats? But at the end of the day, you find out that whatever they are doing in power is not translated positively in the lives of the people. That, to me, is a very faulty kind of democracy. Well, I don't want to say it's a worrisome, but yesterday, the major anchor of this program, Uncle Chris, had said that we were today going to look at the June 12th opportunities that were lost. That we were going to look at the Prince of the Niger that's IBB himself, who ruled over this nation for 8 years as a self-styled military president, and eventually came up with his book, A Journey in Service, and said in that book that June 12th election was historically the most credible election that we ever had. It was freest, it was the fairest, and that a winner actually emerged in the person of MKO Abiola. And of course, we remember Humphrey Nwosu, who headed the institution that was like the umpire. And that happens to be the only election that had been credible. And a true winner emerged. But eventually was never sworn in. A grave injustice. There were a whole lot of structures, democratic structures, that were built across all parts of this federation, of this country. We have the one for SDP here. We have that of NERC the other way. These were
Nigeria Week London 2025. It's time to celebrate the pulse of Africa's most exciting nation. Nigeria Week London 2025 is coming to Hippodrome Theatre from July 24th to 26, 2025, showcasing the best in Nigerian arts, music, fashion, and investment opportunities. Whether you're looking to discover the future of real estate, explore Nigeria's culinary masterpieces, or get immersed in an electric Afrobeat performance, this is the event of the year. You can also join us for a film festival, cultural dance spectacles, and the recognition awards. Don't miss out on the business opportunities and cultural experiences waiting for you. Book your tickets now before they're gone on eventbrite.co.uk. Call or text.
Okay, you just have to manage the network today. It's terrible. Can you hear me, Mr. Obaka?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Yes, we were talking about the democracy and what Nigeria lost by the annulment of June 12th, and is there something we could still bring out and rescue from that situation for our democracy to actually work better than it is doing now? We saw a situation through the option A4 where people, the likes of Gowon lost at their ward level. Yes, because leadership emergence has to start from the grassroots. But we saw the likes of Abiola, who, of course, from the ward level to their local government level, had to fly the flag of SDP in Ogun State, and eventually at the national level. That is credible emergence of leadership. But at the end of the day, the military legacy we had was that this whole process was jettisoned. It's even very saddening that recently the National Assembly, Humphrey Nwosu, the opportunity of having the INEC office named after him, because they said they can't reward effort, that they will only reward result, that he failed to announce the result, forgetting that he was operating under a military situation with a gun on his head. And now you want to, but the question is, that happened to be the process, the only process that ever gave us a credible election. And today we write figures. Today election results are ready ahead of time. How can we salvage our democracy? Or is this the way we should continue to go? Where people consultation is highly monetized, where people consult the real opinion makers, the leaders, the political leaders. They are the key stakeholders. the people do not matter. You take it for granted that you are already there in office. And the dangerous tendency is that you get there, you don't have to be accountable to the people. You just have to see how you can amass so much wealth so that you'll be able to settle these people that you consulted, who endorsed you for the position. So we do not have a democracy, strictly speaking. Perhaps I'm aligning with you now. We have an organized system where we have a ruling class who determine, and they are in the minority, but they determine the fate of the majority. And this is dangerous for what we call a democracy. But the question really is,
like there is a problem. If we continue,
is it something we should allow to continue?
The problem is Nigeria is too big to be controlled by some set of people. But I don't know why it has been allowed or it has been happening. I feel like when you look at Nigeria, it's a big country that we should be proud of. We should be able to boast of a lot of things. You understand? But we are just big. We are just big for, I don't know how to put it. A lot of things that are not supposed to be happening in such a country is happening. The kind of people I feel like you can control is a kind of a small set of country. You know, they have African countries that are very small compared to Nigeria. That even just a state in Nigeria itself is a kind of bigger than some countries that you call Africa. You understand? Like, okay, some states in Nigeria is even bigger than some country in Africa. But as big as Nigeria,
you are struggling with a temptation to call your country big for nothing.
No, you are struggling like, with it's not like that.
You say it's
what
big.
I'm saying, you have some.
You don't know how to say it. That is big. Yes, it's big in potential. It's big in size. It's big in human resources.
Nigeria is bigger than.
But so it is small in leadership.
How can it be captured by just a group of people? You understand? It's wrong. The kind of people you should manipulate like that are people with smaller size. We are too big for this. We are way too big for this. I don't know if you can agree with me.
Yes.
Nigeria is too big for this.
Yes.
It should not be controlled by people.
Nigeria is. But what it takes for a minority to continue oppressing is for the majority to sit back and fold their hands, waiting for the crumbs that fall from the master's table, or waiting for tokenism, waiting to be appointed. A set of people have been appointed. And instead of you to come out and say, this thing ought to be better than this system can impart better, you decide to be calm, that is turn by turn. It's turn by turn. Let me play polemics with the truth. Let me be cosmetic with the truth. Because it is their turn now. Maybe my turn will come tomorrow. So that is it. So some people are there today and they will tell you, hold on, we can see the talent in you. Just be patient. It will be your turn tomorrow. And so you see that Nigerians are being fed on a diet of hope. It is not my turn today. Let me be hopeful. That's the diet on the table. Hope. Let me be hopeful. Maybe it will be my turn. Turn by turn kind of democracy. And at the end of the day, the power elites, the game players know how to manipulate this. They have their name for it. They know how to manipulate this. Appointive positions is the turn. The people are telling the North now, be calm. Just hold on. 4 years after 2027, that is when you will prepare for power to come back to you. So allow Tinubu, however lopsided his appointments are for today, also endure it, because Buhari was also lopsided in his appointments. So it was turn of the North yesterday. It's now turn of the South today. And when will it be turn of Nigeria? That is the potent question. When will it be the turn of Nigeria? When will we have that leadership that we have in mind the interest of the average Nigerian? And until we have that, then of course, we will continue going like somebody on the barber's chair, round and round
They are
and
preparing for
round. Maybe
election.
so
I
much
know
motion, but there's no movement, politically speaking. Okay, Mary.
No, the thing is, I think, sorry, Mr. Obaka, we prepare for election, right? But we don't prepare for leadership, if you can agree with me. You want to emerge a leader for a position, but you don't even know what you will do when you get there. There are no plans in place to say, when I get there, these are the structures of what I am going to do when I get to this place. These are the things I will do to make a change. I don't know if I am if you are getting what I'm trying to say. The plans for leadership is not there compared to the plans for election. Now you could see that they are already this thing, a system of, okay, I want to come back for 2027. This one wants to buy ticket, this one wants to contest. Then they are trying to get people, their board of trustees, members that will work with them for this election. This is you trying to get members of trustees that will work with you during election. But you people are not trying to say, these are the things we will do when we get there. They are not advice from these people, but we are only trying to get people that will vote for us to make us to be there. How can we prepare for election without preparing for leadership?
Leadership is vital. Leadership is essential. Leadership is sacrificial. Leadership. Have you not asked yourself? You saw Obama. He was getting into office as president of America under the Democrat as a party, with few touch of gray hair. But before the expiration of his tenure, you could see that he was all grade. Leadership is about thinking outside the box. Leadership is about sacrifice. Leadership is trying to take a people from where they are to where you think they have to be. That is vision. That is when a vision is running leadership. But in this climb, we are yet to get there. Whether we will get there ever, whether we will ever get there, I'm not too sure. But we are yet to get there. So the target now is that there is oil money. Oil is gotten from the south. There is oil money. And that is what is uniting the nation up until now. Should the oil well dry up today, it will be to your
nation.
What portion do we have in this place called Nigeria? So it's about the oil money.
In fact, the oil is not uniting the nation. It's not making us to think outside the box. It's not making us to think of how we can even make more money. Now, the people that this oil,
that is the honey. That is the honey that is making the ants to gather. The oil remain the honey that is making the ants to gather. Wipe off that honey, wipe off that sugar. The ants will go to their various places. That is that about Nigeria. It's supposed to be, we talked about oil boom, and it got to a point, from the discovery of oil in Oloibiri in Bayelsa, and got to a point where a military head of state said Nigeria's problem wasn't money. It was what to do with money. That was where we got it wrong. We had more money than we had vision in leadership. We had more money than we had dream and aspiration of how to create a prosperous nation. And that was it. And from then till now, that has been the attraction. And you get into power and you ensure that poverty is wiped out from your lineage, from people around you. Why that same poverty is growing in other parts of the country. So it's until we have people who are driven for service, until we have people who are ready to make a change, until we have people who are ready to be sacrificial, until we have people in leadership who are ready to be accountable to the people, then we might just be playing political polemics driven by sloganeering, the slogan of a renewed hope agenda. Meanwhile, the situation is getting more hopeless on each day. So which hope is being renewed? And the students are in the hardship. The market woman is feeling the hardship. The transporter is feeling the hardship. Those who can afford it are deciding to get out of this country. Those who cannot have just decided to be here. And the situation is getting more tense each day because you cannot provide solution to this security. You cannot engage the people in factories and food.
Oh, I think Asaba network is bad. Okay, I think there's this comment on the screen. Let me read it out. It says, Nigeria's rich mineral deposits have not translated into tangible benefits for its citizens, largely due to leadership challenges and a complicit attitude that the country's resources will always suffice. Okay, this coming from Lakeshia Godwin. That's true. Me, I'm still saying what I'm saying. Mr. Ubaka was saying oil is one thing that is bringing us together, bringing unity in the country. No, not like that. What about the people that happen to find that this oil is in their state and they're not even getting enough for themselves? In fact, they are not being well taken care of. I have these friends that reside in Ogoni in Port Harcourt. They'll tell you, okay, I'm from Ogoni State. I'm from Ogoni in Port Harcourt. We have oil here, but the youths are suffering. There are no jobs for the youth. The people that own this oil, they are not even getting anything, and you people are taking this oil, right, to a kind of do things for your own personal interest. In as much as I know that oil generation, oil money is one thing that has been able to help the country largely because that's the money they use for almost everything. But I think we still need to divert into a different path as well, a different path of how we can make money. It cannot just be oil money. I'm not sure other foreign states only make money through one means. No, we have schools in Nigeria, we have higher institutions in Nigeria that are supposed to be doing well as well. But no, everybody is depending on the oil money. Our governors are not even doing what they need to do. Let's say, for instance, Nigeria as a country don't have oil that we generate money from. Can't we survive? There's no way we will not live. We would have been surviving.
Well, you are potently very right there. Very, very right. That is why people have said that the oil has been more of a curse than a blessing. Yes, I hope you get me and get me right. I hope you get me and get me right. I am saying that is the reason Aso Rock is Aso Rock today because of oil money. The reason why they gather every month for FAC, that's allocation, is because of oil money. Don't forget that oil is not the only resources we have. And don't also forget that Awolowo remains a legend for what he did for the Southwest. He never depended on oil. So oil comes in a crude form. And without accountability, it becomes more like a curse than a blessing. Our economy has been more monolithic. One culture, one standing on one leg. And the vagaries of it is that whatever happens internationally to issue prices of oil is affecting us. How on earth will you say you want to implement a country's budget for a year and your 98% of your revenue is predicated on oil? Sometimes not even the one you have harnessed, but even the ones that you anticipate that you will harness. And sometimes you borrow in anticipation of the oil that you have not even harnessed. And as such, that sector is the most unaccountable.
We don't even know what we'll do with the oil. That is the truth. We don't even know. We don't even know how to even use the oil we have. Yes, we don't know how to use the oil we have, but we have it. I think God blessed Nigeria as a country with so many mineral resources that are wasting. Yes, they are wasting. You see people mining our gold for their own personal use, something we have in the country. You see a lot of atrocities. Honestly, I don't know, but I just think we need to do better. I know that sometimes when we talk, we say leaders. Well, that's the truth.
It's a dysfunctional federalism It's a dysfunctional fiscal federalism that we are trying to practice until we allow regions, if not states, to take full responsibility of their resources and have royalty paid to the center. Until there is devolution of power, Nigeria may not be able to attain its optimum. We see states in this country today, they are in their own way mining their resources.
Okay, Asaba, I think the network is bad again. Just like what he said, states are in their own way mining their resources. Who are those mining the resources? Who are those mining the resources? That's the most important thing. They say Nigeria is blessed. The country is blessed with so many mineral resources. It's easy to say that we can proudly say we are supposed to say be boasting with our country, with our economy. But reverse is the case. Not in this kind of Nigeria, I'm saying. There's nothing to boast of here. Like, a lot of wrong things are going on. It's not all about the oil generating money and all of that. What are we even using the oil money for? The oil itself, are we using it in the proper way that we need to? We are not even using it in the proper way. I think other countries that get oil from us, they even make a lot of money from the oil compared to we that owns the oil. Now we could say there are different refineries in Nigeria. Yes, I was saying it earlier this year. I think it was January where they talked about another, apart from Dangote's refinery. I think they said, if I'm right, something Asaba or Delta refinery after the Port Harcourt. When I say, even with all this refinery, just for business, people are saying with all these refineries, the fuel price will definitely drop. No, the refinery will not even make it to drop. It will not. It will only drop if these people have the interest of developing Nigeria. Since I was growing up, Nigeria has been called a developing country, and it has not developed it today. We were taught in school Nigeria is a developing country. Where will it be developed? Are we going to keep saying Nigeria is a developing country for how many years? It's even a shame. Nigeria is a developing country. Is what
If we have the right leadership, we have enough potentials to make Nigeria great. But of course, the citizens have to be a lot more involved, and they need to take their destiny in their own hand. You can't have a docile citizen and expect to have an active kind of leadership. Yeah. Don't forget, the leaders have their own blame, but also apathy in terms of followers does also not add up. We must have an active, the led must hold leadership accountable. But the question is, to what extent are we holding leadership accountable? For how long more will we be contented with Peters and the droppings?
It says, yes.
Okay. Okay, maybe from the comments, you can take some more headlines. Yes.
Yeah, there are like 2 comments that I'm going to be reading now. It said, yes, we have a lot of mineral resources, but we are not making use of it. Right? The leaders allow the foreigners to take advantage and enjoy our resources, but we, the Nigerians, are living in hardship. No, I would like to tell this person that the leaders are not just allowing the foreigners to take our resources. So they are making money from it. It's for their own selfish interest. We foreigners come here and take even the gold that they mine. Did they just come and take it and go away?
Okay, so the system is working for a selected group of people. The system is working for a selected group of people. We need to fashion out a system that will work for more Nigerian, because the resources should be for the benefit of Nigeria, so that our infrastructure can be up and running.
And that is why I said there's nothing like democracy. Because if there's democracy, there will be transparency, there will be accountability. The way they come close to us during election, they should come close to us when they are leading. Yes, as a leader, they should also come close to us, not only during election. Now, this one also said, why are the states not growing their own economy as it is? Okay, the states are not growing their economy as it is because they believe we always cry and call the name of president, federal government. So because we are not putting the blames on them, they might not really see the need to understand that they also need to grow their own state. And how will they grow their own state if they also get a share from the federal level? I wish there will be a restructuring saying that every state should make money from their own state, and that is where the governors can get money to run a state. But unfortunately, it's not like that, and that is why they are coming to say the local government should not create their own account for running of the local communities, which I'm still frowning at it. They should not open accounts with the CBN, right? Because they want to have full autonomy even over the local government. But even as a state governor, over the years that we've not had local government having their own autonomy has been declared, right, by the president and the Supreme Court. When they have been there as the governors of each state, what have they been doing? I don't know why we keep recording that governors have been fixing roads. No, road cannot be a development. In as much as it is needed, right? Because it's aid trade and all of that. People coming into the state. There are still other things to do. I can count on different states that don't have job opportunities. There are states that, if not, in fact, what they make to earn a living in many states is maybe business. There are no job opportunities for graduates. It's not every graduate that finish school expect them to come and open one trader shop and start making money from there. No, not everybody, right, have that mental intelligence or is being wired in that way to say this is where we want to find ourselves, this is what we want to do. You study something in school, coming out, there's no place to practicalize it. So what are we saying? This question is a very, very good and valid question. Why are the states not growing their own economy as it is? I think the governors should begin to change their mindset now. Start thinking of how they can grow each state. Not when everybody finishes school, they start coming down to Abuja, start rushing to Lagos. You understand? States need to provide job opportunities for people. We have potentials. We have people that can do well to develop a state. I wish that there will be a time when the Nigerian states, right, will be so developed that we don't even need the federal level to do anything. We don't need the federal to rely on. But unfortunately,
Mary, I think largely you are right, very, very right. You know, but there are institutional reforms that will be needed, you know, if we can get to that point where you are talking about. Because for now, there are institutional constraints. There was a word you used about restructuring, and I think somebody was making a comment that said devolution of power. Do you know that until recently, you know, if a state government
as a network, I wanted to hear what Mr. Obaka has to say. Okay, just like as you were saying, the state government, the state governors, you people leading the states, all the leaders leading the states, it's not all about saying governors forum, coming to all the meetings that all these governors have been doing that we've been seeing online. What have they been saying about it? It's only when they say pay minimum wage, they'll come out to cry that they don't have up to that minimum wage to pay. Till now, some state governors have not accepted to pay that minimum wage. They've not implemented it yet for them to start practicing it. It's a shame. It is. It makes no sense at all. I see no reason why the states should not be making money on their own. The states should proudly be making money on their own, be generating money on their own. It's very important.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I am.
Mary, are you hearing me now?
Yes, I am hearing you. Go on.
Okay.
I can hear you.
You know, your point is clear. Your point is very valid. The time has come for states to live up to their bidding. The time has come for state governors to be accountable to their citizens. They collect money, huge money in security votes. The time has come for us to know to what extent are they using that to secure their states. The time has come for us to find out, yes, almost 2 years now, almost 2 years, some of them want to come back, naturally so, but what you promised us some 2 years ago, to what extent have you delivered on those promises hinged on your party manifesto? So the time has come for citizens to hold not just the governors, but even their local government councillors and their chairmen accountable. That is how the system should work. But truth be said, there is a level of expectation and performance benchmark we will be expecting from our governors until we have institutional devolution of power. Reason being that,
yes, you see the kind of money
reason being that, yes, but only few of them can go into refining, petroleum refinery. But
okay.
I do not understand why the South-South governors cannot come together and build a solid refinery that will create jobs, that will ensure that you do not have, that the supply chain of petroleum products is stable and not broken. I do not understand why they cannot come together to do that. I do not understand why Delta State, for instance, cannot open up the Warri port and the port in Sapele and the one in Burutu or so. Yes. But of course, they will explain to you that they need the approval of the federal government to do certain things. Nigeria's federation is working at such a dysfunctional level that you find out that for a state governor to go and repair a federal road that is passing by in front of his government house, he will need express approval from the federal government. Otherwise, he does it. But ordinarily, one would say, these roads are within your domain. Why not get them fixed and make life safer, make mobility better in your... Then when you get to FAC, you present your papers. Because of lack of accountability, the federal government is usually very, very suspicious that if states fix the road, they will bring padded or bloated figure. And as such, they say, don't. Our engineers will come. And when last did FEMA come to fix any road? So until we're able to devolve power from the federal to state government, and the state government will be able to do certain things. I don't know the reason. There are a number of people held in the prison now, and the prisons are congested. They are held there because they of state offenses. However, the nearest prison in the location from where this studio is being run from Abuja. So these are things the federal government is interested in building of toilet in Bayelsa. That should not be. There should be partnership. There should be counterpart funding. Yes, at a level. But states should be made to think. The way we are now, dangerously speaking, is that states cannot think. Except for a few states. Yes, I commend the Bon Air. Their airline is up and running.
Yes,
and some other states are coming in. And I'm sure people are working there. Jobs are being created. You understand? But I want to see states involved in rapid agricultural food security programs. I want to see states genuine farmers for food security.
With the excuses that
I want to see states in real estate housing provision.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think talking about the farming own area, a lot of people are complaining that the reason they don't go to farm is because of insecurity. So can they now put more energy on securing these people that reside in these states, these farmers? Because how can people be neglecting their farms because of...
We have lost it in terms of food production, and we have lost it in terms of food security. And we are back again to the very poor trajectory of food importation. And the reason is that the farmlands are largely insecure. For farmers to go to their farm, they need to go in group. It's not convenient. They need to organize money with which they pay those who come to collect. Bandits are coming to take security taxes from them.
This is
Then
so
you now
bad.
begin
why
to
would
ask
it be
yourself,
expensive? Why would the food be expensive?
Are
The
they
cost will
the-
definitely
they are non-state actors. They are non-state actors, but they have organized themselves as to be collecting taxes. And so even retired generals, it used to be fashionable in this country for retired generals in certain parts of the country to set up commercial farms with tractors, farms as big as cities. But it's no longer so. A number of them have been, a former secretary to the federal government, yes, Olufalaye, had been kidnapped from his farm a couple of times. The farms are not secured. And so we can't have food security. So we are back to importing from neighboring countries instead of being the food basket of the whole West Africa and the source of major food for the whole world. That is where we are. Until we are able to fix the issue of insecurity and be able to secure Nigeria, that of food security will continue to be a mirage. It is that sad, So the states come up with some pet projects and train some university graduates and say this is how you can get into commercial farming, and that they give them starter packs. But the question is, where will they go?
Oh, network. Yeah, I think I agree with what Mr. Baka is saying. We've lost it when it comes to food production. We need to do better. We need to really, really do better. Okay, viewers, I'll be going on a quick break, and when I come back, we'll continue with the newspaper review. Don't go anywhere, stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Nigeria Week London 2025. It's time to celebrate the pulse of Africa's most exciting nation. Nigeria Week London 2025 is coming to Hippodrome Theatre from July 24th to 26, 2025, showcasing the best in Nigerian arts, music, fashion, and investment opportunities. Whether you're looking to discover the future of real estate, explore Nigeria's culinary masterpieces, or get immersed in an electric Afrobeat performance, this is the event of the year. You can also join us for a film festival, cultural dance spectacles, and the recognition awards. Don't miss out on the business opportunities and cultural experiences waiting for you. Book your tickets now before they're gone on eventbrite.co.uk. Call or text +447 438 893 190 or 080 330 46768 or +447 459 071 747. Visit our website superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week London 2025. Nigeria Week London 2025, celebrating the best of Nigeria, is partnered with Civil Society, scaling up nutrition in Nigeria.
Welcome back, viewers, from that quick break. We're still on the show Rise and Shine Nigeria on ARTV, Africa Renaissance Television. Nigeria, we hope we're definitely going to rise, and that is why we are here on the show, seeing how we can actually air our view on the national issues, on the things bothering on the people, because a lot is going on in Nigeria. A lot of things that are wrong that needs to be corrected, even though we know that a lot of people are scared of putting out their voices out there. But in a little way we have to still come out and put out our voices for the hearing of the people. Because a lot of people are going through a lot in Nigeria. A lot of things are happening in Nigeria that needs to stop. If we continue this way, I don't know how it's going to be like in years to come. Because what I'm seeing right now, we are really in a mess. As a country, we are really in a mess. It looks like we've lost it. We've lost the track. We don't even know where to go from here. We don't even know how to put these things in the right direction. We can't continue this way. And that is one of the importance of this show. Because here we analyze the national issues, we analyze on the things that are bothering on the people. We see how we can actually bring solutions to them in our own way. We tell you our thoughts. Your thoughts might not really align with us. But I think what we do here is we talk on how things can be resolved. It's not just about hampering on the on the problem of Nigeria, but how can they be stopped? What are the major structures that can be put? How can people prepare for leadership and not just for election? How can we vote the right people in power? Not during election again, we go and start collecting palliatives. No, palliatives has never stopped the problem. It has even been the problem. These things you collect during that period, can we remember that the years of suffering cannot be compared? You understand? In fact, the 1 or 2 days enjoyment cannot be compared to the years of suffering. Can we start thinking towards how Nigeria can be better, how we can now be called one day a developed country and not a developing country? We are too big of a country to be going through what we've been going through. Just like I said, we're coming back to continue with the newspaper review. On the point, there's a story that said we lost thousands of nurses to the UK. Why won't you lose them? Why are we going to lose these nurses? Okay, yeah, still on the Punch newspaper. Let me show the Punch. Still on the Punch. It says brain drain. Nigeria loses 14,815 nurses, midwives to the United Kingdom. Why are we not going to lose them? When you employ them here, how much do you pay them? If you are not paying them well, definitely you're going to lose them. You can only have people that you can cater for. If I cannot, if it's just like if you are not gaining something from a place, you definitely want to shift to where you are gaining. Naturally, that's how we are wired as human beings. We don't want to stay in a place.
Yeah, I think somebody had at some point said that instead of the state of emergency that was declared in Rivers State, that it would have been more responsible on the part of the federal government to have declared a state of emergency on our health sector. Our health sector is such that it requires a declaration of state of emergency. We produce health workers for them to go and service other parts of the country. And what that has resulted in is...
Oh my God, Asaba, what's happening? What's happening to Asaba Network? Okay, so let me go through the Vanguard. That's the next paper. The Vanguard newspaper. Let me see what we have on the Vanguard. Okay. Okay, so the big story on the Vanguard, we have Nigeria, others face uncertain economic outlook, coming from Yemi Kali. And the writer says, Nigeria needs economic sovereignty. Coming from Nasima Boss. Nigeria fails to pursue national development. And we also have economic council run on market principles. Muda Yusuf. Manufacturers spend 40% of their revenues on energy, coming from Samandi. And we have ICANN kicks against borrowing for recurrent expenditure. And all the stories on page 10 and 11 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving forward, we still have a story on the Vanguard that says, election cases, appeal court, president, INEC, others seek constitutional review, on page 8. Jim Ovia admitted to freedom of the City of London, on page 8. Naira for crude deal continues, coming from the federal government. Okay, we have a story here that says court orders Pandef lawyers, CSOs, others kick as IBAS appoint local government administrators in Rivers, on page 5. Okay, I think we have crude oil price crashes, puts federal government target in jeopardy, on page 19. Okay, I think I pick more interest in this story from the Vanguard that says a lot of business owners, marketers, right, spend 40% of their revenues on energy. Definitely, to be like that, that's the kind of country we find ourselves. So it's not easy. Even to be in Nigeria right now is difficult. It's very difficult to be in Nigeria. Mr. Baka, I see your network is not really stable. I just want to complete the dailies, the news.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I'm trying to complete
you-
the. Yes, I can. I can.
Yes, if you can hear me, there was this interesting one that you brought up that has to do with the number of nurses that we train here in Nigeria, and they end up going to service
UK.
the diaspora. Yes, as unfortunate as that is, it will continue to be so until we improve our operational environment here, because every doctor, every nurse, and all the other supportive medics will want an environment where they can have job satisfaction. We do not have the support infrastructure here for job satisfaction for the medical personnel. The remuneration is also poor, and as such, they want to go to other countries. And when they get there, they beef up what they have there. And our medical practice here is still, to an extent, analog. And there it has become so digital that operations are done seamlessly. And so if you want to continue pretending that you are okay with the Nigerian standard of medical practice, you may just be involved in some level of self-deceit. If the president, we have had successive presidents now who do not even have trust in our medical sector, so much so that at the slightest excuse, they go abroad, London, Germany, to take care of their health. And that is an example they are showing us. So much billions go into the Aso Rock Medical Center, but at the end of the day, no president ever receives his treatment there. And so the medical tourism, but we need to keep on training these people, and we need to also make our environment attractive, so much so that some of them can decide to practice their trade here. I'm in touch with some of them, and some of them tell you that no matter how much they are paid, no matter the contribution and the awards they win in foreign countries, a time comes that they begin to, like Ellis Halley of Root, begin to ask themselves the question, where am I from? Is there no way I can give back to my society? And as such, some of them want to come back. But for them to come back to an operational environment where midway into an operation to save life, the public power supply goes, and the gas cylinder doesn't have gas in it, and at the end of the day, life is gone, then that is frustrating. And as such, we need to improve our health sector. Growing up, we had people from India, medical officers from India, who were practicing here. Today, people go from here to get that kind of medical attention in India. And so it is that it's not a good statement for this generation, but we can redeem the time.
Sure. Just like you said, we can redeem the time. Okay, let's quickly look at the Tribune. We're already almost running out of our time. So let's see the last paper before we round up the show. Okay, these are the Tribune. IBAS under fire over appointment of local government administrator in Rivers. And the writer says, PDP accuses NAS of abdicating oversight role in administrator. IBAS in order, Tinubu gave him blanket check. Coming from Okori on page 4. Still on the Tribune. Labour Party, one party, 3 chairman. OT function passes vote of confidence in Ninadi. Parallel extends only branch in Ambres, NWC. Another factions leaders apart from those claims.
That's traditionally Tribune. That is traditionally Tribune. Tribune from the days of the ownership by Awolowo usually play up political development. You can see how they have played up the situation in Rivers State. Unconstitutionalism will always give birth to unconstitutionality. You understand? It was very, very unconstitutional for the president. Well, that is a question left for the Supreme Court now that the governors, about 11 of them of PDP, have approached the Supreme Court. Yes, but some of us have our opinions on that the presidency went out of the Constitution, to appoint a sole administrator. Now the sole administrator cannot be in Port Harcourt and be in the 25 or so local government. And as such, he has also appointed 25 sole administrators, as it were, for local government. And that is an aberration, constitutional aberration. The local government is a tier of its own, constitutionally recognized, and you are not supposed to make them handpicked. So what is happening now is that we have invited a military rule and unconstitutional government in Rivers State, and that is a dangerous signal going forward towards 2027. Then the other news item there had to do with Labour Party, two parties, one party, and two sets of leadership. And that is a product of infiltration. The last election we had in 2023, Labour Party surprised the watchers of democracy across the nation. It became a galvanizing force for the youth, for the women, and sprang, won in territories that were traditionally said to be for other parties, including Lagos State, where a key presidential candidate was a governor for 8 years. But lo and behold, what has happened? The moment the president settled down, because we think more in election circles instead of what can administration do to the lives of citizens, the plot now became, how can 2027 be a walkover? And for us to have it a walkover, we must destroy all these emerging forces, political forces. And so they had to infiltrate the Labour Party. And that was why the Labour Party that had won Edo State in presidential election had to perform poorly in the governorship election that they had. So it's about political infiltration to weaken opposition, but that is undemocratic. That is done with the money that would have been used to improve infrastructure, the money that would have been used to give our children free education, the money that would have been used to revitalize our federal universities that are looking like poultry houses now, the money that would have been used to make life more bearable. That is what is being used now as political engineering to dislodge the stronghold of opposition, so that 2027 will be a walkover for the ruling party. This is unfortunate. This is, I think it was Alan Pato that wrote "Cry, the Beloved Country." It's something that can make somebody cry for Nigeria. But beyond crying, what can we do? Let us come together. Let us articulate a position, and let us have our voices to be heard, and let us present an alternative on how this nation can be better. Because at the end of the day, I think God didn't make a mistake making us to be Nigerians in this time and in this age. We must contribute our quota towards seeing that this nation runs better, functions better than it is doing now.
Okay, so still on the Tribune, we have Trump announces 90-day pause on tariff except for China on page 7. We still have leadership, an opportunity to serve, not self-enrich. Buhari tells APC governors. Hey, Buhari saying leadership, an opportunity to serve, not self-enrich. I've noticed that most of these leaders, anytime they step down, they are not good. They are only good when they step down. So he didn't see all the things he did during his time. It's coming to say that is an opportunity to serve.
No. Let's not sound fallacious. The fallacy of either overgeneralization or, the question is this. He had a problem of age, some of us were already at a level in life. We know when he came in the 80s with Idi Agbon and booted out the government of Shagari, So we understand where he's coming from. But let's not forget that when he came into power as a democratic president, he said something. I no longer have the stamina that I had when I was a military administrator. I will not forget the Diagbon Buhari regime and how they tried to bring about war against indiscipline and how they tried to make politicians who had looted funds to be accountable. Their laws may have been draconian. I am latently against their Decree 4, which was against the freedom of the press and freedom of information. I will not give up on that. But truth be said, it is dangerous when you elect an old man. Let us look at the facts. If you know his true age when he was elected as president to take over from Jonathan, you will know that we were wired to fail. Because at how many memos can such a man read? How many meetings can he attend? Now I hear the National Assembly is trying to come up with a law. What law? That once you are 60, thereabout, you should not go for certain positions, including that of presidency. But of course, you know that is dead on arrival because Tinubu is already way above 60 and they are not going to. But something tells me that that is the way that we ought to go. Because if we are able to get a man of vision in his 30s or in his 40s, at that point in time, you are at your prime. With your age, you can articulate position. With your age, you can run with a vision. With your age, you can be up and doing. I was told that Trump had a meeting with one of our presidents, either former or present, and at the end of the day, he was angry with his aide. Why did you arrange a meeting with me between me and a dead man? That the fellow was practically dead. He could not articulate. You must face reality. There is a time you get to in life. There is a limit to what you can do. You cannot understand the dynamics, the language of modern economy.
Nigerian leaders. It does not work with them.
War that is going on now, can Tinubu sit down and do an analysis of that? So you end up having these old men who are ceremonial, symbolic heads. But members of the cabal, the members of the kitchen cabinet, who have so much power, yet no responsibility, because they are not accountable to anybody, are doing very monstrous things behind the scene. And that is why you see that Buhari may have meant well, even in his second coming. But because of his age and the circumstances he found himself, he was like a sleeping passenger who wouldn't know when the driver takes him even to the wrong direction. And at the end of the day, perhaps he was going to Onitsha and they found himself somewhere in a Iyaro Park in Benin. But because he just woke up. We must factor in how our leadership emergence process should be able to throw up men of integrity, men who are transparent, men we can say we know where they are coming from and we are convinced about their vision, but they must also be men that are still alive. Not those who are going for organ transplant on a periodic places. There was even an embarrassing situation at a time that in certain sections of this country, it was being said that it wasn't Buhari that was in Aso Rock. That the president we had was long gone, but that somebody from Nigeria was brought in and cloned, and it sounded outlandish, too difficult to believe.
For a very long time.
But people got into it. Because when your president cannot come out and engage you, he cannot come out to sensitize the nation, cannot come out to empathize with the situation that is ongoing. We see a situation where the opposition that wanted to desperately wanted to boot out Jonathan, brought in insecurity into this nation. Today, you have thrown a stone into the market and you do not know who is the victim. You have set the ball rolling. You do not know where it's going to end. The whole nation has been festered with insecurity because of the desperation of an amalgamation of a political interest that needed Jonathan out. Jonathan is out today, but we started off something that we are not able to contain now. The whole nation is burning in very severe insecurity, and it's affecting every other section of the country. Some of the nurses that are going out, apart from job fulfillment, why are they going out? They want to be secured. Do you know that in this nation as we speak, as sad as it is, as a health worker, it is believed you are fairly well paid. And in your neighborhood, you become a target.
They don't pay them well. They don't. Some of the
relatively speaking, they are paid better out there. But even in this nation, you know, their pay package is slightly higher than what a medical doctor on housemanship is taking, about 300 and something. And in the routine civil service, that is the salary of level 10 or 15, not even 16. So it's believed that their remuneration package is better. And that makes that alone becomes a crime. And they are target of a kidnappers. How come that medical students who were traveling, for one of their clinical outreaches, the entire passengers in the bus, students were all taken. Because, once you hear that your medical student's son had been taken, then, of course, you will go and sell your property to raise millions to pay kidnappers. That is how low we have gotten to as a nation. And I don't want to sound pessimistic. I still believe that there is hope for this country, but we need to get it right. When we have leadership that is not just there because I am a representative of the North, it's our turn. And so I have to make appointments based on ethnic, sectional level. NNPC group managing director has to come from the North. CBN has to be answerable to the North, and all that, because it is our turn to manage the resources of this nation. And nobody is thinking, how can we diversify the sources of the wealth for the nation?
You should merit a particular position to be there. It can't be it's our turn. That pattern is another thing that is eating me up. Like, I'm so angry about it. You understand? Because if you keep saying it's your turn, it means, can we just agree that this whole leadership thing will always follow a particular pattern of
turn by turn? It is the turn of the Southwest now. Just be calm. Your brother Jonathan of the South was there. He possibly didn't know what to do with power. It fell on him because Yaradua died. So now the Southwest is there. They know what to do with power. Just hold on. For another couple of years, it will be back to so. It's turn by turn. It's just like an unfortunate lady that found herself in the hand of rapists, and they are saying we are taking our turn. Nigeria, as a maiden, is being raped by political hijackers who have hijacked the nation, and they are raping it turn by turn. We are now thinking of how can we rescue this maiden that is being raped and tortured. And we have to do it by coming together. We have to do it by reasoning what is the alternate way forward. We have to do it by sensitizing the people that what is happening now is not your lot. This is not God's desire for Nigeria. No. This is the desire of the ruling class who want to perpetuate. You are an alternate voice in the National Assembly. You are suspended for 6 months. And you are not agreeing with one of them as your godfather, playing to the terms, not ready to surrender towards 2027. A state of emergency is declared. In all this, can this sincerely be called a democratic dispensation? A sole administrator is appointing hand-picked local government chairmen in a democratic setting. Where is that done? How can that be defended? And the judiciary is there waiting. Now they have a case before them. Let us see how they will pander towards technicalities. And we have the National Assembly, supposedly to be the voice of the people. But when last did we have a National Assembly that has a semblance of a check and balance to the executive? That was long past. And so we are in a political T-junction, some form of quagmire. And we need to galvanize. We need to think outside the box in order to see how the soul of Nigeria can be rescued. For now, it's like we have been politically hijacked.
Yes, and we need to, and we just need to get out of this mess. Honestly, we need to. Okay, Mr. Baka, thank you so much. Thank you for your time on the show. You really did a great job, your analysis and all of that. I think this would be a good place to wrap up the show. It's already time, and hopefully we'll do better tomorrow. I know the network really dealt with us today. It was difficult. Thank
you very much. I'm tempted to call you not Mary now, but to call you Mommy Chris. Yes, because you anchored the show. It may not have been from UK, but from Abuja. So for anchoring the show, I call you Mommy Chris. Thank you so very much. You did brilliant.
I didn't feel good because I felt it should have been done in a better way. The network was so bad, but hopefully we'll get it.
No, it can get better with time.
It trained in Abuja. Yes, it trained in Abuja. So most times I notice whenever it trains. Yes, whenever it trains
there. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much.
Affecting my network. It was the rain. But hopefully tomorrow will be better. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, viewers, this would be a good place to wrap up.
Have a blessed time. Thank you so very much.
Yes, on ARTV, Rise and Shine, Nigeria. You keep rising. Please don't forget to tell a friend, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of interesting content to bring to you. Just like a chain, keep sharing our YouTube, keep sharing our content, keep telling them to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will see you again tomorrow on Rise and Shine. I remain your girl, Mary Valizi. Bye.
Nigeria Week London 2025. It's time to celebrate the pulse of Africa's most exciting nation. Nigeria Week London 2025 is coming to Hippodrome Theatre from July 24th to 26th, 2025, showcasing the best in Nigerian arts, music, fashion, and investment opportunities. Whether you're looking to discover the future of real estate, explore Nigeria's culinary masterpieces, or get immersed in an electric Afrobeat performance, this is the event of the year. You can also join us for a film festival, cultural dance spectacles, and recognition awards. Don't miss out on the business opportunities and cultural experiences waiting for